Alright, now we're back here with the 725. Now Briggs offered several starter generator setups too, besides just the different necks for the air cleaners. And this is a mid mount. Gets the starter generator down lower so it'll clear the hood on the bigger block, taller engine. And on this side, we used with this being a 16, we used a shorter tube that went between the base of the carb down here and the air cleaner to get that air cleaner down below the hood. So you don't have to cut that out either, neither side. Next thing is a lot of people go down here and cut a hole in the frame like Simplicity did starting in '64 when they went to the Model 23, which is the same size as the 10 horsepower and on up. You don't have to cut that hole in the frame down there either, that triangle shaped hole. Now this particular blower housing is in pretty rough shape, but right down here is the only part that will barely contact the frame on the at the bottom where the engine mounts, because the frame moves up on the 725 or 700, the B1, well, and on up through the all the foot dragger tractors on through 71. But Simplicity, starting in '64, cut that hole in the frame. All you got to do is dimple just about 1/4 of an inch of this very front corner right here, and it will clear the frame just fine. It is just not easy to see down in there, but you barely, the sheet metal of the blower housing just barely contacts the frame down there. Barely. And just a little bit of massaging that bottom front corner up here of the sheet metal down here will clear. So you don't have any, you don't have to cut the hole in the frame. You don't have to cut the hood, and it'll fit in there, and it'll look just like it came in there. You see this one's not done yet. We've got wiring; it needs hooked up and so forth, but. So anyway, just a short video on that. I've been asked about it several times over the years. I've done several of these swaps over the years, and I first learned, back in '98, '99, from a guy on a forum, Simple Tractors, who was a puller, and I don't even think he's active in the garden tractor hobby anymore, from my understanding. But he taught me a long time ago that you don't have to cut up the hood, you don't have to cut up the frame, and you can make that engine just set in there just like it came in there. There's a couple of things. You do have to drill 2 new motor mount holes down there. No biggie. You need to take a ball on your drill or something, and you'll need to enlarge this hole all the way to the bottom, to the floor of the frame. The oil drain hole's not quite to the floor when you start. So that's because the Model 19 sets on a couple of 1/2-inch spacer plates. When you take the 1/2-inch spacer plates out, the taller big blocks set in there just perfectly, and the drive shaft lines up just perfectly. They're not out of line or anything. But then it also drops your oil drain down lower because your block's sitting right on the floor of the frame, so you have to do that. Up here in your drain or your oil fill, it's a little tougher. You're really better off if you get a block that has got the oil fill up here, the tube with the dipstick, but this one doesn't, and of course my Model 23 out there in the 700 doesn't either, but I make it work. I don't know if you can see on this one, I moved the frame out some, like they did on the '64 newer tractors, and then it's got a square head plug for the oil, and I just ground it down so it was small enough I could get a hold of it to turn it and get it in and out. So anyway, that's that, and if you got any questions about getting the bigger Briggs engines into these 700s, 725s, and B1 Allis Chalmers models, just give me a shout, and I'll help you what I can. All right, thanks.